452 AD. After a lightning campaign through northern Italy, Attila, king of the Huns, had led his armies to the very gates of Rome. What was once the proud capital of the most powerful empire in the ancient world lay at the feet of this fearsome warrior chieftain. His people had swept into Europe like a tempest from the steppes of Central Asia only a few generations before. But it was Attila who melded the Hunnish tribes into a single terrifying force. Since he became their leader in 434, Attila had risen to become one of the mightiest rulers on the face of the earth. It is no wonder that to his terrified enemies, this remarkable man came to be known as Attila, the Scourge of God.
He was an outsider, certainly to Christian society. He was an outsider to Roman society. Here is evil on horseback.
Attila the Hun was one of the most successful conquerors in all of history. At the peak of his power, he held nearly all the barbarian tribes of Europe in one fist and threatened to crush the entire Roman Empire with the other. Attila's success in war has also gained him another sort of dubious distinction. A few years ago, Time magazine asked a group of professional historians to compile a list of the 10 most hated persons in history. Adolf Hitler was the clear winner. But most historians also ranked Attila near the top. For many people, the name of Attila the Hun is associated with barbarism, terror, and destruction. But in some parts of the world, Attila doesn't have a bad reputation at all. In Hungary, for example, Attila is not only a national hero, but a common first name. In many of the regions Attila conquered, he's remembered as a wise and benevolent ruler. Even in America, people have begun to take a second look at the career of this notorious barbarian king. In 1985, a book titled The Leadership Secrets of Attila the Hun captured the imagination of many business and political leaders. Like Attila, the book itself became the subject of a great deal of controversy. Though it is more than probable that Attila deserves his barbaric reputation, for the most part, the historians who perpetuated the demonic image of Attila were equally motivated by deep religious and cultural bias. They established powerful and enduring myths that differ greatly from the historical facts, facts which are also at odds with legends that portray Attila in an over-idealized light. The real Attila was a brutal, charismatic, and uniquely talented leader. Although he inherited his throne, he brought a unity and fierce loyalty to his people that had never existed before. And under his leadership, the Huns were practically undefeated in battle. But Attila's greatest victories weren't always on the battlefield. He was also a shrewd negotiator and a brilliant leader who demonstrated both fairness and modesty. When he did fight, however, his armies were a bloody, irresistible force that swept aside almost everything that stood in their path. A single word from Attila could make kingdoms crumble and empires shake to their very foundations.
For Christian society, he became the very symbol of destructive, wantonly destructive evil, the scourge of God.
But Attila's origins were as obscure as his conquests had been swift. Attila is believed to have been born around 400 AD. No one knows just where. Some historians believe he was named for the river Volga, which the Huns called the Attil. Attila's father, King Munzuk, knew this river well, since it winds through a region of Russia conquered by his own father. Attila is also thought to be the Hunnic word for iron. In any event, it's clear that from the day he was born, great things were expected of Attila. During his father's lifetime, the Huns had expanded to the west and the south. Within a few years of Attila's birth, the Huns had crossed the Carpathian Mountains and established a vast empire centered in present-day Hungary.
Although the Hunnic leadership initially came from Central Asia, The Hunnic Confederation, like most of these barbarian peoples, was not a single ethnic group. It was made up of a wide variety of barbarians as well as Romans. The Hunnic Empire was an equal opportunity employer. Anyone could be a Hun who fought with the Huns and who supported Hunnic leadership.
The mighty Danube served as a buffer between the Huns and their neighbors to the south, but not for long. In their new homeland,